So this ended up not being sandblasted. You can see the difference between this one and this one. Came off the same bike. They put a filler on this. I'm not quite sure why. Maybe it's a gripping filler of some kind. So that blasted off very easily. So you might have to still take all this off, because this is a non-damaged panel. And when you sandblast it, all it does is it just pits the plastic in the paint that's on here. Now you can see that the quality of the paint that's on here itself is untouched after all these years. So it's still on and adhered properly. So there's really no need to go and disturb the primer base other than go and repair around these holes. So once that's done, we can get on and paint these panels, and we'll sort out that fillered panel and decide what to do with that. But yeah, we probably have to go and sand that all off. So I've got some scrap material which I'm just welding up some jigs so that I can get the components on, and so that the sprayer can spray as much as he can in one hit. I'm going to put the front mudguard on there, the two side panels, one on each side. That's enough to spray in our small booth that we have aligned for this particular job. So. Sometimes these tanks have double skins. And you can see on there, there's definitely, I can see the dent. I'm making a dent remover from inside, if I can get in there. I've got some metal here. What I've done is I've welded two nuts together. I've got this end ball thing from my wonderful pillar drill, which I'm going to screw into that and use this end as my dent remover as opposed to a hard sharp edge. So I've just got to tack weld that onto the end, and hopefully that'll work. And it definitely is working. I've got large bits of it out, slowly but surely. Just got to get this corner down here, pop that out if I can, and then that'll be good enough for filler. The issue is really this corner, because this would have been slightly raised, and as a result I wouldn't have been able to get the profile correct if I did put any filler in it. But so far that seems to be moving, so let's keep going. Yep. get this bike properly clean now. Really, really dirty. Part of the process of getting what I want for this bike is to create the decals themselves, because what I'm finding online is either inaccurate or the colors are incorrect with the traditional colors of black and this dot matrix finish. Now I know this is traditional and that's fine, but if I'm going to make any changes, subtle changes, I'm going to have to recreate them. So the original file, let me show you this here so you can see, right, is this. Now what I've done is I've got a accurate replication of one. This is kind of how you do it, as in copied the background, which is this grey shadow area, which allows me to cut out a stencil for this, and then I can apply any color I want in there and then overlay it with the next level, which happens to be in this case red. It's only what I'm using as a substitute, but that will most likely be the silver, and that's where you see the graphic as well, also vectorized, high quality. There are a few little things like in here you can see which need fixing, which is easy enough to do. And so we'll end up now with, because I like all this, all the text, I'm going to recreate the text. Now I'm not sure how this was done, but there's a lot of weight and kerning issues here on the fonts which are not correct. So I'm going to take this information that's here and I'm going to fix it. So I'm going to tidy it up. You can see the weights of the letters, the U and the A and the L are incorrect. The U is too narrow. That's a sign of whoever did this took a photograph of the original part, but the quality of the image when vectorized wasn't good enough. Also the lens of the camera, you can see how thick the brake system is compared to this, and then it thins out here and then it thickens there. So I'm just going to find the font and I'm going to recreate that and tidy that all up. So then I've got any stencil, any mask that I need to apply the colors that I want, which again, as I said, will be very subtle changes, but they'll be good subtle changes. They'll make a difference to the quality of the finish. Also, the problem with stickers is if you're doing a nice custom respray, the one thing that I don't like particularly on high production bikes is the lumps that you get from the graphic on the paint. They just spray the tank with the graphic underneath and leave the lump there. Mine will be smooth because we're not actually applying a graphic, we're going to be spraying onto the tank. I think getting this replacement cowl, which is an original part, you can see the difference. This is the bit that I just didn't understand. This red is nice. It's got a bit more of a flair to it. Whereas this Honda red is pretty damn awful. It's almost purpley. It's very difficult to tell on this image, but you can see that's got a yellow red and sort of a purpley red, which I'm going to get rid of. So I don't feel too bad about changing the color, because this is more the color that will make this VFR in red sort of pop out.
still brightened up a little bit more. Obviously it wasn't like this when it came out the factory. It was probably dulled down a little bit. But yeah, I feel a bit better about that now, which is a good thing.
For some reason this one feels taller, but trust me, they're exactly the same. It could just be an alignment thing. Anyway, it looks clean. We'll just tidy that up, sand that off when we get it ready for paint. There we go, this is the second one done. Such a nice close tight fit. What happens when you put filler onto flexible plastic? It's not a good idea. Mr. Bear? Look at this!
Motorcycles and cars and, you know, all sorts of stuff. Into the hand, are you alright?
Oh yes.
That's thing.
So we just want to see where this will oxidize, because this is not chrome. This is just an alloy. Chances are I might still have to spray it, otherwise it'll go sort of a milky color. But anyway, it's a shame if they do go milky, because I'd like to put some nice metal finish to this. So I'm going to swap these discs out. A Chinese supply, quite a lot cheaper than anything I've seen here in the UK. And I've got to say, I think they're fine. They look good.
So what I'm going to do next is, now that I know how to take this off, and it's fairly simple, is I'm going to change these tires, but when I do that, we're going to spray. These rims are not as clean as I thought, and they will not look great on the bike, so those will come off. Okay, this is the pre-primer stage. So what you saw me do earlier was just to do all these repairs, fix these parts, and then key the panels. But you'd be surprised when you've got that much stuff to do, how much small detail you miss, which will reflect in the primer when you apply it to the surface. You end up just working harder at it. Now, this is part of what I'm doing now, is to go through each little corner, radius, corner edging, all that sort of stuff, that when you imagine this being really glossed up, that shows through. Let me show you, this is typically what I'm talking about. So while you're wiping all this down, getting rid of the dust, and you have a good look around, boom, you spot that. Now it might be obvious because I'm showing you, but you know, when you've got this much of a shape to deal with, and all these bumps and things, and holes and so on, and there's been so many repairs done on this panel, you will miss one or two, and there's no point in painting over that. That's very visible on the side of the bike. That would be a real shame, because once you start to paint, you really got to go through the process, as you'll see. You can't just stop because you find a crack. That's got to be done, got to be very thorough when you finish these off.
So to create a primer mixture for Rob Granville and his motorcycle parts would be 500 grams of primer, 65 grams of hardener, MH110, and then 60 grams of thinners or thereabouts, 60 or 70 grams of thinners, but I would do 60.
Ta-da!